Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I'm Bancroft being joined once again by Jimmy, Jake, and like always, Fluff.
Yes, sir.
Jake must have stepped away. Oh,
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't register that it was my turn to speak.
What's up, beautiful people?
And like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for reasons. Today's matchup, which is our round 2 from this past weekend, is Jimmy versus Fluff. Jimmy's brought out Invoker, which is a deck I haven't seen Jimmy pilot in a very long time, versus a Soul Striker variant, which isn't mine. Guys, take it away.
No Soul Striker variant is yours, Bancroft.
Sure.
You're a slave to the Soul Striker.
Yes.
That's all you are.
What a narcissist.
You don't own it.
He had to make this video about him.
Yeah, of course. What a schloob.
Gosh.
Also, I don't know if it's just me, but like the video is like hella choppy.
It's because of what's going on. For some reason, this file is acting up, but in the final run, it will be fine.
Gotcha.
So,
all right.
Just to kind of go over, because I want Jimmy to talk about this deck, because Jimmy sits down in front of me and he's like, hey, hold on, I got to cheat real quick. He was like, I forgot I had proxy cards in, so I got to put the actual cards in.
Yeah.
So talk about your Invoker deck, because I should have been expecting what it did, but I just it wasn't until about turn 4 that I realized what I had walked into.
So, I wouldn't call this my exact build. It's like maybe one or two cards off from Legends build from Team FOE. Am I correct with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is like one or two cards off of his build, because I think that right now is just the best variation of this deck. Cards like Catablow just aren't good anymore. Just due to the limit 1, like there's some hedge case where you can get your opponent down really low and then get him with the Catablow, but it's not really worth running. I think the deck's been figured out. I think Legend is probably the best Invoker player, in my opinion. So I have a lot of respect for his build, but this plays very similar, but also very differently from classic Invoker, where old Invoker was you slap down that 3-drop Vegeta as fast as you can and you set on top of that, where in my initial, or after this event, I actually took the Vegeta down to 2-up because it's one of the worst cards in the deck now. Just due to how much removal there is and how easily it's removed, where used to the easiest way to remove it was a 3 energy extra card that you would run just for the Invoker matchup.
Nowadays, it's going to get ripped out by that Golden Frieza or just Gogeta's Zeno or anything.
Yeah, like there's so many fantastic options that is just built into certain decks to remove the 3-drop Vegeta. So most of the time, I'm trying to wait as long as possible before I play the 3-drop Vegeta and survive on like cards like Instinctive Reprisal, which we saw very early on to get rid of the Beto, which I believe Legend in his profile. And also, I'd like to talk about this moment. Just remember this and what's in my hand right now. Where he mentioned that Instinctive Reprisal is probably one of the worst cards in Invoker. And I tend to agree, but in situations like there where I was able to get rid of that Beto and really turn off a turn for Fluff was really, really good.
You bottom deck a super combo?
No, I bottom decked a Strategies of Universe 7. So we'll get back to that, but Fluff, let's talk about your Soul Striker deck, since I've spent so much of the video already talking about my deck.
Yeah, it's okay. I think that your deck is probably a little more interesting than mine. This, as you can see from like my charge targets, this is pretty much my take on Soul Striker Bojack Brigade. The reason that I really like this deck, and I like Bojack stuff in general, is because they basically dictate your charge targets for you. If you see a Bojack in hand, it gets charged. If you see the first Bardock, it gets charged. So basically, your energy acts as a pseudo second hand for you. And unlike most blue decks, Soul Striker doesn't really care about negating so much. Like, as you can see, I freely put a Dimension Magic, and I think I only run 3 Dimension Magics in the list, because this deck is the king of the combo set. I don't think there is a deck that can readily out combo this deck. Like, this deck just gains so much advantage through the combo step because of cards like Galactic Buster, Ultra Instinct Kamehameha, and all of those. And you can see that I'm running the baby Unison. Maybe I'm like resting too much on my like old school laurels, but I just can't turn down the -5 effect on that Unison very much. Like 10,000 double strike and then being able to activate Golden Apes for free, or being able to activate a Vegeta Ready to Rumble or a baby Gohan's minion or Gohan baby's minion for free by just discarding 2 cards is just too good.
I mean, what Unison would you play outside that? Because like that also helps you awaken, you know?
Well, I mean, so your options are, I think
Tapion.
there's you've got Tapion, the Giant Force Raditz, which Jimmy tried to put me on, but I just, where it was a blocker and then I would lose access to the combo step, I didn't feel like it fit in this version of Soul Striker. But those are the 3 that really come to mind.
So, Tyrannical Blow. This card was never really relevant early on, but I think it's becoming more and more and more relevant as the days go on, and how much decks draw. Because I asked you at the beginning of this tournament how many cards you have in hand. You're like 15. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you have to drop 5 now, which is unheard of in a blue or red deck. Being able to make your opponent drop 5 cards for 1 energy.
I was also kind of thankful because you turned on my sparking.
That's fair too, yeah.
Like, it didn't hurt me. I still had 11 cards, 10 cards in hand. I think I was at 15. I had to discard 5, which is really big for the Invoker player. And it's about this time, going like between my turn 5 and turn 6, where I'm like, okay, Jimmy's not attacking my life. He's trying to kill me another way. I was like, does Jimmy have an Apex? You know what? I think he does. And then I start remembering that you ran Apex.
So I want to mention here, this was a misplay on my part. When you turn Bojack sideways, I could have sworn you said double strike. So I was like, well, I'm not going to bounce it back to his hand because I don't want to be able to put it back into his energy. He already has another one in the energy. I don't want to have to worry about it. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to bounce it back to the hand with Sleepy Boy. And then you restood it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
No, the hoe has double strike. Everyone knows, or dual attack. Everyone knows that.
Hey, you just said double strike
because you said double strike.
Yeah, but I could have sworn you said double strike there, and that's why I chose not to bounce it with Sleepy Boy.
Yeah, see, now you got me misspeaking. But I'm worried. Honestly, because I don't have a readily available way without giving up a ton of energy to get rid of the Vegeta. And with the Vegeta on the field, you have access to cards like Royal Condemnation. You have access to so many big power plays. And it's kind of troubling knowing that you're about to go into 6 life. And typically my Soul Striker play would have been on that turn to go on and activate the -5 on Baby and then tap 4 to play the Boo Unison. And then with the Boo Unison plus Soul Striker, I can end the turn with 3 open energy with the ability to activate negates for free. But I didn't feel comfortable putting a Unison out if you were going to drop Apex. But you had been kind of putting on a show talking about how, like, this is awful. You hadn't been able to see, like, the cards you needed. And so I wasn't totally convinced that you didn't have it, but I wasn't sure if you did or not.
So on this particular turn, I did have Apex, but if I also had access to a Rival Seeker plus the 6-drop dash pack Goku, and 2 Sensu Beans, I can essentially swing Victory Strike, or I can use my leader effect to rip whatever counterattack you have in hand, swing Victory Strike. If that doesn't kill you, then I go into Rival Seeker into the 3-drop and swing at your life, triple strike, 9 times, and you're at negative 15,000.
Yeah.
But you do choose to put it back into my hand, which was, I did not expect that because that just loads the gun for the next turn.
The reason that I do that, I need to get rid of your Vegeta here. And I'm like, okay, how can I get rid of that Vegeta? But keep in mind that even though I did the Trunks, Apex has turned off all of my skills except for my extra card skills.
Mm-hmm.
So battle cards don't get skills. Unisons don't get skills. Leader doesn't get skills. So I'm effectively done drawing cards outside of my charge phase and everything else at this point. I'm standing on 7 energy. I have a 0 combo super combo in hand. I just decided to charge it. And then I'm going to just try to pressure with the multiple 20Ks that I have on the field and leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm basically, while my effects are turned off, I just need a way to deal with Apex. So, you know, I honestly forgot that it also turned off their card effects, which is, I knew it turned off battle cards, but I didn't honestly, it was before Unison, so I thought it would say like turn off all battle card and leader card effects. But the effect says it turns off all non-extra card effects.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually turns off the Unisons too, which really sucks.
Which is huge. Like just being able. That's what a lot of people are talking about with like Finn going into the next set about how negating a Unison skill is so good.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people tend to rely on Unisons now as either a draw engine or a defensive engine. And
Absolutely.
then you turn that off, you take that away, and most decks will crumble under that. Which you did a good job being able to play. And I mean, you have, 6 energy, so you should have a pretty decent defensive strategy.
Well, but all my extra cards are turned off. So even if you play Apex again, so you get to peek my hand here, and you get to hit the Dimension Magic. So what ends up having to happen is you're going to go into Apex, you turn off all my cards, you're going to swing. I know that to a certain degree, you are going to come up. So I ended up doing Ape here. And the reason that I did Ape here was because I wanted to send the Vegeta to the bottom of your deck to turn off Invoker. It's the only thing I had going. I have 1 energy open, and I still have access to my extra card skills, which I have 2 Ultra Instinct Kamehamehas, plus the ability to combo fairly high. So as long as you don't go all in and take your battle card up to 100,000, I'm pretty confident that I can meet you at about 80 to 90.
I could not get that high. And I peeked the hand, but I did not calculate all your combo power because I was more so focusing on that Galactic Buster as well as the 2 UI Kamehamehas. So I didn't calculate the rest of the combo power you had in your hand. And of course, I probably could have comboed out on that and then basically crippled you going into the next turn.
Yes. You
would have
absolutely could have done that.
Yeah. But I chose to play it safe and just try to get at least the UI Kamehamehas out of hand because I would have another chance to peek your hand and rip whatever negate you may or may not have drawn into.
Yep.
And also, I am very wary of Baby Hatch at this point. I knew it wasn't coming down that turn, obviously, because you couldn't activate its skills. But I'm setting with my hand with no explosive demon waves in hand, which is my out to stuff like Baby Hatch.
Yep.
And then it becomes a game of like, I really, really need to see explosive demon wave before this next turn.
Honestly, an explosive demon wave was one of those cards that I was just convinced you had. Like I have Baby Hatch. I know that you were running explosive demon wave. I'm just like, is it even worth it for me to waste the hatch knowing you probably have an explosive demon wave? Here, I'm going to try to pressure the Goku Vegeta to try to blow it up. I have very limited options towards getting rid of this card. So instead of, I'm basically one step trying to bait what you've got, trying to just get you to use cards to minimize my crackback here, because truthfully, the comboing through the Apex did deplete a lot of my play resources. And while I still have a fair number of cards in hand, you're able to use your leader's effect here to add 3 more extra cards back. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, now I have to play through, like, I think you added an explosive wave. You added
I added EDB, Tyrannical Assault, or Tyrannical Blow, and Sleepy Boy, because
Okay,
I did not know what else you could do on that turn, and luckily I was able to hit the Explosive Demon Wave off of TOP and topped it.
Yep.
But I didn't know what else you could do, and looking at that amount of energy, I was thinking you could just blitz out and just play basically just a bunch of vanillas and swing with them.
Yeah.
So I chose to go ahead and crack the ability to pick up the extra cards just to have some defense.
Yeah, which isn't a bad play. Because once I saw what you added to hand, I knew that I wasn't going to commit much more to the field. So my best option moving forward is putting the baby on the field. Putting the boo on the field. So unless you have a way to turn off the unison skills, I'm going to be able to bottom deck your Invoker. And then all I have to do is worry about whatever you've got, and then you have this promo. And I was like, son of a bitch. You can probably combo 100 times on this.
So I do want to mention here, before we go any further, I always forget this guy does not have Invoker. So I'm setting feeling pretty, because I'm like, I have a Royal Con, and you see me, I go to tap 1 energy, and then I'm like, wait, it doesn't have Invoker. I have to tap 4, and then I'm like, you have Baby Hatch. If you play it, you just play Baby Hatch next turn or next swing, and I don't have energy for an Explosive Demon Wave. So I'm going into this turn thinking I have it 100%. There is no way you could do anything to me, because I'm going to Royal Con the 4-drop, and I'm going to Explosive Demon Wave the Baby Ape, and then you're just going to have to eat 9 attacks at triple strike.
Yep.
And then
it might have been better as the Soul Striker player to just block the Invoker and then save the -1 for this 6-drop. Oh wait, the 6-drop's barrier, so you're not going to get to do
no,
that
the 6-drop is not barrier. So that's
Ooh.
another reason why I said remember that earlier when I bottom decked the strats of U7, because not a lot of people tend to run UI Kamehameha. That is like one of Fluff's, like if he's building a blue deck, he's putting UI Kamehameha in the list. So I was thinking, I'm going to put Victory Strike on the field, rip his negate, and swing and win with that. And then if not, I'm going to bean up and drop the other one, and then he's not going to have any option against that. But since you had the UI Kamehamehas, from that turn onwards, I was thinking I really should have kept that, because now he's going to boo Unison. He's going to be able to bowjack whatever I play, and I have no way to protect both Victory Strike and the 6-drop promo.
So I honestly, and this is, an advantage that Jimmy had in this situation, and just thankfully I had a couple different solutions in hand. I didn't know what Jimmy was playing. I didn't know if this was like the updated Victory Strike list. I didn't know if this had some other win condition. I hadn't seen Rival Seeker, and I hadn't seen the promo Goku. If you look at Jimmy's energy, his energy is not telling in that regard. So I'm not expecting it. I get rid of the Invoker. I figured there was something coming. Thankfully, I had a solution.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I really like about this Soul Striker deck, is it's very reactive. And even if you don't have a clear 100% knowledge about what your opponent is about to do, you have the ability to react to it 97% of the time. And then if you have match knowledge, it gets way easier.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below and on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
I do want to just kind of address that last turn real quick. I did pick up cards for my energy with the Zeno super combo, forgetting that it was my turn. But Jimmy only had like 6 cards in his hand, and I had like 15 with a bunch of open energy. I could have comboed every card in my hand and still got that.
I will
So yes,
say,
I should have.
You literally just had to tap one and put Champa, and that was
Yeah.
it.
I will say you didn't actually play the Vegeta super combo just yet before Jimmy had already shown his hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So just saying it, I caught it. I know it was there. I didn't actually play the super combos, so you're fine. But anyway, thanks guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, fluff out.